Why, hello there. It's me, Jeremy, your favorite bald dude telling you about Standard and Strange, a store and a brand with simple rules. Sell clothes they themselves would wear, manufacture it ethically, and build it to last. From boots made in Oregon to loop wheel garments made in Japan, find all the best clothes for your wardrobe at Standard and Strange. StandardandStrange.com. Hey folks, you're listening to Blammo. It's your favorite bald boy. It's Jeremy. And man, I'm just glad to be with you today. Or whenever, wherever you're listening to this. Look at that. So happy to be here. We made it through another week. Look at us. And our season's winding down. But hey, don't worry. It's not over. There's plenty of that hot content going around. I want to recap this season a tiny bit before we jump in, because things have just been popping on the Patreon. I mean, from the Slack to the AMAs to, all sorts of stuff. We have our show with writer Derek Guy, the Triple J show with Gene DeLeon, John Moy, and myself. And we're about to start in like an open office hours video thing. Lots of stuff happening. And I'm grateful for all of you, making this season, as usual, the best yet. So thank you. Okay. All right. Actor and comedians Adam Pally and Jon Gabrus are on the pod this week. Both have been on the pod before, so I would highly encourage you to check out their episodes. You can just dig into the archive. It's in there. But they're both good friends of mine, and it's been amazing to tune into their show every week on TV. The show's called 101 Places to Party Before You Die, and the season just wrapped this last week as we're recording this. And I highly, highly encourage you to either just buy it on iTunes or Amazon or stream it on the True TV app. But it's a great show. It's kind of funny because they created a travel show that's not really a travel show, a comedy show that's not really a comedy show, but it's perfect. It's been the highlight of my week since it debuted. It's been a lot of fun. So we chat the origins of the series, outdoor activities gone wrong, not turning the camera off, loving your homies, bad celebrity endorsements, good burgers, and shout out all the brands they've been wearing. So, big old pod this week. Here we go. I was telling Gabrus before you jumped on, like, we started, obviously, we're caught up on the show. We were watching it. I had to sign up for Sling to try to get it because I'm an idiot and I don't have cable like a real adult. And I did get it. But then I was like, fuck, I can just buy the show. So I bought it. But then your boy was losing his mind because you guys were talking about it ahead of time. There's clips and stuff that are going on. But if I buy it, I don't get it till the next day. But then I realize it doesn't matter because I watch it at 3 a.m. anyway in the middle of like a night feeding. So I am getting it.
We made it specifically for that reason. It's supposed to be accessible for night feeds.
We rate high in the night nurse community.
Yeah, they love us. They love us.
The only problem is you wake up, you wake your kid up because you're laughing so hard. That's
really nice. It's
great.
It's really sweet and awesome. Like, it's like a cherry on top of the whole process that friends of ours that we respect their taste are like, it's so funny. I feel like when we were making it, we were like, is this funny or is it fun? Because like we're having fun.
Yeah, and that's not enough to impress other people.
Yeah, like, will that be funny? Like, who knows? But some way we came out of it with some decent jokes.
Well, no, that is funny you say it like that, because I think on one hand it's like, well, what do you mean, like, dumb friend? Like, of course I'm going to make good shit, but like, there's a very fine line that you guys are all aware of in travel shows, and especially the world of travel shows, right? Because you have Bourdain, which people, say he wasn't a travel show, or he, but then you have these other shows that are very, very like tacky in every single thing, but you watch them because you're at the gym. And you guys have managed to create this show that like has, and I mean this in a good way, like has transcended everything. Is like, I'll watch it to have on in the background. I'll watch it to actually focus on. And it's funny as hell. And it's actually like, I've taken some notes. Like, I mean, I guess I got to go to Cobra Burger now. I mean, this is.
Yes,
indeed you do.
100% you do. You need to go.
If anyone lives within an hour drive of Cobra Burger that's listening to this, just get in your fucking car and go. Trust us.
Take a day. I would give it up to 4 hours. Like, I would say anywhere 4 hours if you have a car and you don't have like a steady gig and you're like, you know what, I could spend 8 hours in the car today. It's worth it to go get a Cobra Burger.
Wow.
And it'll take you that long to digest it, much like a snake on the way back.
I would drive back with the windows down.
The best has been seeing like people's reactions like digitally online, especially with like the Cobra Burger stuff, because you guys said it like 4 or 5 times on the show. It's written on the screen that it's not Cobra meat, and like people were like tweeting at you guys being like, wait, you ate snakes? Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Tiger. Same thing with in the first episode, I got a bunch of stuff about tiger wings because we make this joke a lot. Like whenever someone's like, it's like a weird wing or whatever, we're like, is that made from pelican meat or whatever? And we did it in the first episode and I got like a bunch of ads that were like, eating endangered species is basically making you akin to hunting. It's like, first of all,
what?
You think
did you see what
a pub in Denver has access to tigers?
And did you see what we were eating? Did it look? What part of the tiger is a 1.5-inch tiny little flat?
Dick. We were eating tiger dicks.
Sucking the bone scraping tiger cock for life.
Well, I know you guys have answered this on a few of other shows and stuff, but kind of like, how did the show happen? Because Pally, you and I were having lunch and you were telling me about that, like you were working on the show and you were making it. And initially in my head, I thought it was like the trip.
So did we.
Yeah, that was what we were. That was partially our inspiration for the show too. We just had, the only thing we had to do was, in order to make it on American television, we had to actually make a travel show. Like, in order for us to get to do comedy, we had to deliver on the travel show element so that True TV could check boxes. And honestly, it ends up being one of our greatest assets. Because like you said, Kirkland, it's like travel shows, you could throw them on and just be like, even bad ones, I'm just like, oh, this is nice to see Bora Bora. You know what I mean? Like this host, this host is a nightmare, but at least like, there's a low bar for travel shows. They're easily enjoyable. They're like at base level escapist. And so for us to be able to have that genre, like wielding that genre in our way it's been a delight. It's because we know what a travel show requires. People sit down, they get the format immediately, and then we sneak sucker punch like extended R-rated comedy bits into their brain.
Yeah. I mean, I think like for us, we love. One of the things that Gabrus and I bond over all the time is how much we love that kind of television. Like whether it's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, or I remember that show 3 Sheets. I used to really like, even though they talk about Nightmare Host. Yeah, like that guy was a fucking dumpster fire. But the show was interesting, and Action Bronson, and like all that stuff, and even like Maddie Matheson and Benny Blanco. Like I just really like that vibe, and I think
even Favreau and Roy Choi chopping it up in their like, little Diner. Kitchen. I love that show. Like that shit all hits, man.
Yeah, so I think for us, we were like, the trip is our comedic goal, but we knew that both Americans and American television executives didn't have the like mental space to understand what it would mean to be spoofing a travel show, to be, you know what I mean? So we were like, let's just take that layer. Let's take that layer out and let's just do a real travel show. But the goal being more jokes than information. And that's kind of the only thing we've stood by. And it works. And then we get little things about ourselves in there that we don't shy away from, which I think really help and like fill out the people we are on these trips. And you don't need much, but like little glimpses, calls home, like, character stuff. It's like little things like that are enough to carry you so much more than I think a scripted audience gets credit for.
Well, also in 2022, we're kicking off a travel show with, a decade of the genre of podcasting being around too, where people have adjusted to like hearing celebrities or comics or talent that you like being themselves and knowing more about their lives. Like people who listen to Armchair Expert know everything about Dax Shepard. You know what I mean? Like, cause you're yourself. Like people listen to me and Adam on podcasts and know. So like bringing that energy of like, hey, let's be ourselves and let's open up the parasocial relationship to video a little here. So it like bringing that energy in where we're doing extended dumb bits that like seem like podcast humor. We're now doing that getting to do that on television and like bringing those elements. Cause what else? Like now it's just a video podcast where we switch locations. You know what I mean? Like what is TV?
Yeah. It's
like Charlie Rose, WTF. What the fuck's the difference? You know what I mean? Like it's all the same shit.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. One is venting about his life, and the other got canceled or something.
Right, yeah. The other likes robes and interns.
And then what happened to Charlie? And then what happened to Charlie Rose?
Yeah. But no, it's great that you bring your family in because, like, on one hand, like the trip is great. But there's really nothing about the food. I think Steve Coogan's marriage falls apart because homie has an affair.
Well, I think it's a little more scripted and like in a way that gives them moments like especially the first one. And they go away from it a little in their television series and it becomes, I think, closer akin to what we were doing. But in the movie, they keep this dramatic tension of like, how is this trip changing these two people's lives? And I think Gabrus and I, that's the main difference was that we were like, we're not going to, it's almost like we're going to change the places we go into. We're not going to change. We're always going to be the idiots. We're always going to be, the narcissists. We're always going to be like the ball busters with like a charm. But every place will be different. And that will create kind of the thing that'll make you want to watch 101 of them.
And I guarantee we probably, besides the physical change of my face and feet swelling and the bags under my eyes appearing in the later episodes, besides the physical change, I think eagle-eyed viewers could notice too, like we sort of were like, for us, we hadn't seen each other that much in a couple of years. It was nice being like I guarantee there's some change that we like, some imperceptible change too that we undergo. Like, because by the end, when it started, I was like, this job is the fucking best job I've ever had. In the middle, I was like, I don't know if I'm built for this job. And then at the end, I was like, Adam, I don't want to do anything else ever again in my life.
We're crying. We're crying.
I just want to scrape bones with you forever, brother.
Yeah, I want to make jokes at waiter's expense forever. But yeah, it's so like I think that is the main difference is that which is like, not to get too dorky about it, but it's kind of the way that we were taught comedy and the difference between kind of the early UCB style and other improv is like, don't waste your time on plot and story. It's like, people know who you are, be funny and find the weird things inside the scenes that are going on and just find your patterns and repeat them and heighten them every time. And we kind of did that in episodes, and then that grew out to chunks of episodes, and then we have jokes that last the whole season. And I think that was kind of our goal, as opposed to looking at like each episode telling a story.
Right. Yeah, because that is a almost a luxury you guys have in the fact that when you look at other shows, because like you can't compare this to any other travel show or anything. There's nothing that equates other than the fact that you guys eat together. But because and I say this because you guys have characters that people know you are in real life. Like, people are recognizing you while you guys are recording. You're having these interactions versus when you look at some other travel show, they spend the whole show trying to make the viewer connect with this person. When it's like people already connect with you guys right out of the box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, and I think in other travel shows and other reality shows, which is something we're really cognizant of, they never show the like what's happening on the reality show. They'll like, you never see someone come up to a Kardashian and ask for an autograph, even though it must happen every day, 10,000 times a day. And you never see like a Real Housewife, like, acknowledge the fact that they're growing in popularity because they're on this reality show. So I feel like on that level, we were like, well, let's just take down that wall too. And now, like, if you're on the, we're doing the show as it happens. never done it before. We don't know what we're doing. So if someone comes up to us and they recognize us or they don't, like, that's now part of the show. And it's, it's really, I think it even makes the viewer connect more because now they feel like they know us more.
Well, there's an informality to us in general as people, and bringing that energy into the show. I feel like I've been, it's sort of like, ma'am, please, they're shooting a trap. Like, no, it's just like, yeah, come over, ask that guy if he's Zach Galifianakis. Go. Go nuts. Go nuts, you psycho.
See what happens. Yeah.
I saw that at the end of the Puerto
Rico. Yeah, whatever you got to do, go ahead.
Whatever you got to do to get your rocks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you and I, for guys who, for improvisers, it's like, yeah, throw some shit at us. Let's, like, I'm happy to roll with like what I don't want, like, don't set up plants to come over and like pepper spray us and fuck with us or whatever. But like,
no, and like certainly if you're listening to this and you're in season 2, you're like in English pub, you're like, I'll go and fight M101 boys. It's like,
it's a bit of a fucking dust up.
It's
lads.
a bit of a fucking travel show, huh? Like, no.
Are you taking the piss now? Are you, Pally? Huh?
Yeah,
taking the piss, mate?
Don't. Like, actually, I am. I have to piss, but don't do that. But like, the everyday part of the show from the moment we set out to make it in the pilot. And that was something we had to, like, the crew had to adjust to, the executives had to adjust to. It was like, we had a clear vision of every part of the salad being in the salad. And like, we didn't want you to get like, we wanted you to see everything. So the car doesn't start right away. That's part of it. Like, the driver keeps looking off the road. That's part of it. You know what I mean? Like, like,
we insisted on not reshooting anything. Like, if they were like, let's just get an entrance.
Like, it's happening in the moment.
Yeah. Hey, you guys didn't figure out the handle of the door for like 20 seconds in this restaurant. It's like, we're not reshooting it. Leave it in or cut it out.
Or cut it out. And it's like, or heighten it. And like, that's what we found. Like, for example, the scene with me getting on the, like, where Gabrus is doing an amazing job snorkeling, and I was trying to get on. Like, those were 2 separate scenes. Obviously, we were trying to do a snorkeling scene. I'm not very good at it, and Gabrus is amazing at it. And the joke could have been like, we were looking for, and as improvisers, we're trying to play this joke of like Gabrus swimming beautifully and me like drowning and stuff. But it just wasn't like, it was fine. It was like, it could have been used. But then we also found this bit that I was doing where I literally couldn't get on the boat. And I heightened it, and then it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when we looked at the footage, we were like, I think that's the juxtaposition of the joke. And it ended up being funnier than what we were doing in the water. And that's why it's like, as improvisers, you want that weird thing to pop up, and it gives us, it's like, it'll happen no matter what.
Yeah. And as a travel show, we owe it to the audience to show them some underwater footage. And we're not
right.
Just because of how a travel show works, we say we're going snorkeling.
Right.
They got to see something underwater. It's the rules.
Right.
So we get
it's
that,
the rules,
but we don't have to get both of us down there pointing at fucking coral reef and shit like that. Like, that doesn't add, as long as we get the, like, this is the 101 Places version of snorkeling. It's like, we see an octopus,
right.
We see Gabrus swim around, and then we see Pally struggling to get back on the boat, and it hits.
Yeah.
It's like, but that is what snorkeling is. That was what it was for us.
Yeah, for a lot of people. But like another example would be like, we talked about this with our showrunner. We went fly fishing in an episode, without to spoil, no spoilers. We went fly fishing in Utah, and we didn't catch one fish. And I think some of the producers were a little like, what are we gonna do? Like, there's no fish in the water. We're not catching any fish. And meanwhile, the whole time, Gabrus and I are like both bitching because it's hot, and like really running bits with the guy, our guide, like really like going at the guy hard, not in a mean way, but just like we're really running bits.
And this is a guy who spends a dozen hours a day standing in knee deep water alone trying to catch fish.
Waiting.
He's not a real let's roast each other kind of guy.
Right. Yeah. So it's like we're working hard, but like Gabrus and I could feel that it was like, this is, something's here. Like, this is like funny. And I remembered a quote, and we talked to the producer about it, where Anthony Bourdain said that his least favorite scenes to shoot were action scenes, anything he had to fish, anytime he had to ski, anytime he had to surf, anytime he had to do something. He didn't like it because it didn't feel natural. And because of the crew, he never caught a fish. He never got to ski the way he wanted. And it pissed him off. And I said to the producers, think the opposite of that. Like we want it not to work, not on purpose, but because everything in life doesn't work a little bit, and we will notice it and make it the thing. And if it doesn't work, we'll just cut it because we only have a little bit of time. And I think once we like clicked into that, things like illuminated a lot of stuff, because it was like, no worries. Like we go to it, we'll go fly fishing, we don't catch any fish, no one cares.
But in real life, if you only like fishing because you can catch fish, if you only like playing basketball with your friends when you make baskets, if you only like success, then you're in the wrong. Then you shouldn't fish because it's not going to happen and
you're with the wrong dudes. You're with the wrong dudes because we don't mind losing. We think losing is fun.
Yeah, fishing for us was about standing in the river, doing something new, and trying something for 3 hours, getting some nature, doing some bits, and then going, well, let's go eat elk burgers and get the fuck out of here.
It was like, and going back and sitting and being at the bar that night and being like, dang, we were out there.
Hey, no one can say we didn't try, right?
No one say like we didn't think about not catching a fish once, and like that is the show to me. Is just everything in life has something wrong with it, and it's the way that you deal with it that makes you like kind of how interesting you are, That's
actually really poetic and beautiful, honestly.
Yeah. It's making me reevaluate my marriage in real time.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that.
I don't understand what she's so mad about. I don't understand what she's so mad about.
I know my wife's still asleep. She's going to wake up to me being like, hey, I've been thinking a lot about us lately. What?
Oh, God.
That actually, I think that's you always know that you're with your soulmate when you can bond over ripping on somebody else with your soulmate. Like I mean this in
pastime.
Yeah. All Elizabeth and I do, she'll probably hate me saying this, is like we DM each other dumb stuff we see online and we're like just sidebar commenting over everything.
I mean, that's romantic. Yeah. That's so romantic.
Yeah. That sweet smell of a new season of Fits. My Fits from Standard & Strange. You know who I'm talking about. Whether you're in one of their stores in Oakland, Santa Fe, or New York, or you're browsing their shop online, Standard & Strange has become my go-to place for denim, boots, and, practically everything I wear. This season, I'm making a few picks each week on our partnership, and I have been really feeling their recent collaboration with Blue Maid and Lauren Yates of Ponytail Journal. The Garden Suit, made in New York City with a beautiful brushstroke camouflage fabric milled in Japan. It's just a banger. Whether you're into incredible unlined chore coats or the pants, separate or together, they're just amazing. Check it out at standardandstrange.com. And while you're there, dig into their incredible selection from other brands like Orslo and Capital and the Real McCoys. Standardandstrange.com. Buy fewer, better things. That's standardandstrange.com. Over the years, I've had the joy of trying tons of brands. Some good, some bad, always trying to figure out what works for me. But a brand I've loved and continue to love is Proper Cloth. Founded in 2008, Proper Cloth has revolutionized the custom clothing experience, and it's been where I get my button-downs and dress shirts from, and I haven't looked back. They just get better. From incredible Italian fabrics to that perfect collar, Proper Cloth has made a seamless process to either measure your favorite shirt yourself or just visit one of their showrooms in New York City. And if you're looking for something more casual, Proper Cloth will let you custom order a polo shirt with incredible fabrics from some of the best mills in Italy. Take my advice and get a long sleeve polo. Wear that under a Proper Cloth shirt jacket and you got a stew going, my friend. Fun tip, what shirts do you need in your wardrobe? Blue and white Oxfords, folks, and a Bengal stripe. Let's go. Those are the three. Get them now at propercloth.com. So go custom like your boy or ready to wear. Visit propercloth.com to learn more. That's propercloth.com. It's like and just hating the world together.
And I'll say what Kirkland's not saying. The DMs are other friends' posts. They're not strangers.
Yeah, it's not
I salute
me.
you.
It's not me. It's not like look at this Chick-fil-A meme.
Yeah. Check out this cute bulldog. No, it's like look at our friend spiraling.
Yeah.
That's true. We're like, how do they live their life like this?
Yeah.
I'm constantly like, hey, has anyone had tabs on this person for the last 2 years? I think they're coming undone.
Oh yeah, I became a little bit of like a COVID microfiche. Like I would be in the library, like doing microfiche research on a couple of my friends. Like, yeah, like I'd see a friend of mine's Instagram post where he like looked like really not well, and I'd like send a couple like, "How's this person doing?" Like, you know, like, is everything okay? And then sometimes like, "Nah, not great." So you'd send a text. You know?
Oh yeah.
Then there are some friends that like would throw an umlaut in their anti-vaccination tweets, and then you go, you know what, I'm just gonna lay off that.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna follow up. Let's just keep on.
You're like, what have you been up to? Just doing your own research. Okay, cool. What's up?
Right, well, see you around.
Yeah, you never want to hear like, hey man, how was your time in COVID? It's pretty good. I did a lot of my own research. Goodbye.
I spent a lot of time online with like wide eyes.
Yeah.
You're like, all right,
Yeah.
see you later, brother. You have a family?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, and you didn't. All right, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the king of texting the friends that I like think maybe aren't doing that well, and they're actually doing the best they've ever done in their whole life. And then they're like, Kirkland, something must be wrong with you, man. Like you coming at me. I was
Maybe
like, no,
there
I'm just
is.
checking to see how things are going.
Wait, I'll blow up Kirkland's spot right now. I posted a thing on Twitter that was like, I'm being held hostage with like, and they have a gun to my head, and so please send me cute dog pics. Like I was just mocking all those people who are like undergoing something intense today. Send me cute dog pics. And then Kirkland sends me a text. He's like, hey man, for real, everything okay over there? And I was like, oh yeah, no, it's a bit. I'm not held hostage, but also I see.
Kirkland did the same thing to me.
He's just too empathetic.
He's too empathetic. He's too earnest and sweet, because I wrote a joke. I did a joke similar that was like, I think about death so much, you'd think I knew it was coming for me.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like just trying to get one of those, like, one of my like little like, and Kirkland immediately was like, hey buddy, is everything okay?
And you're like, technically no.
No.
Guilty. Yes. That's what happens when you're a preacher's kid, man. You're just all like making sure you're trying to love the world.
You're a bleeding heart. By the way,
Pally thinks about death more than any one of us. So.
Oh yeah, constantly awaiting it. Speaking of death and cute animals, did you see Alec Baldwin's Anne Heche Instagram video?
No.
Oh, dudes, you gotta look it up. It is the funniest. I mean, it's awful. He's a piece of garbage. But like my phone. He's talking to the camera, right? And he's like in his Hamptons mansion. Like you can see how he's in like an outdoor living room, And he's like, tragedy befell a good friend of mine. Of course, I just want to take a moment to talk about poor Annie Heche. And then he flips his phone that way, and there's two like fluffy dogs. You only need to watch the first 30 seconds, because he does this thing that to me is like, this guy's a sociopath, which is he starts off really like brave talking about Anne Heche. And then in the middle of it, in the first 10 seconds, pans over to his like cute dogs who are looking at him. Like,
yeah, I just saw.
It's the oddest, like, Gabrus, you got to see it. Hold on.
Hey, I just wanted to send out my best wishes and all my love to Anne Heche. Anne is an old pal of mine, and I did a movie with her, a very 90s thriller called The Juror, with Demi Moore was the star of the film, and Jimmy Gandolfini had a small part in the film. Matt Craven was in the film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt played Demi's son when he was very, very young. That was how long ago this was. And Anne Heche was in the movie.
Because it is so odd. And he leaves the shot there. Like, it's like as if someone's like, well, yeah, no, I'm just hanging out there. There's Lulu. Say hi, Lulu. Like, it's so weird. I don't know why I thought of it.
Oh, yeah. No, that's one of the most incredible things of watching people live their life online is you're like, oh yeah. I mean, I used to be obsessed with Michael Douglas's Facebook way back in the day because he would live his life the way everyone's grandpa would. It would be like, you know, went it was like went to the driving range today, like not my best, you know, and like that's it. You're like, what?
I yearn for that time again.
We need to go back to not crafted, curated persona. Like I miss that, like the Garth Brooks video of him in bed in a hotel, and he's like, heck, hello there, Facebook friends. I have no idea what this new app is. And he's like talking.
Yeah, it's official. We're on Facebook.
That's what it is.
No, I yearned for the day when it would be like Michael Douglas being like, the tuna at my local deli on Pico has taken a real downturn.
Right.
He still does it like I just pulled up his Facebook and one of the most recent things is July 22nd. I really don't have anything to say. Just wondering how everybody's doing. Checking in on you. Hope your summer's going well and having a good time. Love you guys. Peace. MD.
That's just that's someone who heard from an agent or a manager. It's like, you gotta post more.
Engage.
But what does he give a fuck for? He's so rich. Don't you think he's like, shut up?
I can't wait to be rich enough to fucking delete all my social media.
Yes, to have
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Happy
have an agent
Independence
be like,
Day.
you really want to engage. Be like, I don't want to engage with anything. I have $100 million.
I'm Michael Douglas. I have throat cancer from eating pussy. I don't need any better press than that.
Oh man. Yeah, stars are just like us, and they're just as goofy, and they are definitely embracing their own level of normalcy. Yeah.
But now everything is so curated. Now it's like, just got back from the driving range, and thanks to my hashtag Titleist pro bono work, I'm able to, and then tag 3 different golf trainers. The golf,
it's impossible not to, because once the brand finds out that Michael Douglas goes to the driving range, even though it's not at his best, they're like, here's a free set of clubs and $100 million, and all you got to do is do the same thing you did, but hashtag it TaylorMade. Right. He's like, what? Great. Like, I would do
free
that.
money, great.
How much would it cost you? How much would it cost you to put a hashtag of a company on a certain number of tweets?
What's the number? Like 1 a week?
More. Twice a week. 100 tweets.
100 tweets.
All your tweets for the next 3 months.
100 tweets a year.
And
okay.
And the brand is not cool. The brand is not. It's not like Apple.
Let's make it Dannon yogurt.
Dannon yogurt.
I love when you think of not cool. The first thing you think of is Dannon yogurt.
Because it's not. It's not even Greek.
I didn't want to go purposefully like anti-cool. I didn't want to go I wanted to go something that's
no. Dannon yogurt is perfect because it's not even like a Greek
great
yogurt.
Call, yeah.
It's
harmless, but it's also weird to be a huge fan of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Accessible. All right.
How much now in this hashtag? You have to write the hashtag, and under every tweet there is a small image that says Dannon yogurt.
Yeah, or Dannon yogurt partner.
Dannon
yogurt
love.
Partner. That's
Dannon yogurt partner.
Yeah.
How much how much would you take to do that?
I guess you got to give me $20,000 for the year. I guess you got to give me got to give me 2 G's a month.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. But I would do it less for a weed company I like. I would do it less for a small company I like. You know what I mean? But
right. You're company centric.
If it's a huge company, I'd be so pissed to be like, yeah, give me $80 a tweet from fucking Dan and Yo. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather not have. I'd rather not have.
But however, they're not making you custom tweet. They're just saying we own your account.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on.
And all the characters created.
Wait. Okay. Hold on.
That's a phenomenal freaking question. Like, what's the number? I mean, I'm sure someone at the Dan One group would slide into your DMs and PayPal you 20 racks.
Yeah,
20 racks for 100 tweets. That seems fair.
Yeah, it's too.
It does actually. It seems like the going rate.
Agent, it almost seems a little low.
It's $200 a tweet. I mean, that's like.
And how many
counter?
And how many people follow you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Let's see.
I have no idea.
This is the benefit of doing remote pods, is you can pull up information too quickly. 81,500.
Damn, dog. Oh, that's me. I have 81,000.
That's you.
I thought you were talking about
Damn,
your own.
dog.
I was like, damn, dog, I have the same exact amount as what I was going to.
No, I'm pulling you up.
81,000. Damn, dog, that's heavy. All right, we're charging too low. 81,000.
Your engagement's very, very high, though, Gabrus, because you tweet a lot. Like your average engagement on all your stuff.
I
have like a little.
I've been tweeting a lot
I need
the last
50
7 weeks for some weird reason. Oh, it's because despite making my show for a $1 billion corporation, it's up to me and Adam to see if we get to promote, if we get to do it again. This is like flyering for a fucking sketch show, but the money all goes to Dr. Discovery. It's whack.
Gabrus, as your agent, I would say that we're looking for $50,000 for 100 tweets because at least we need half of your followership.
Oh yeah,
so at least we need half of that.
Right, that's a good way to look at it.
That's a fair CPM.
I would like 10,000 more because of that stupid image.
Right. Oh, I like that. That's I think, and building up that rubric. I'm sure, as a matter of fact, there are people who have that rubric built out. It's like, oh, you're a weird right-wing coffee company and you want Chris Pratt to advertise your coffee? Like if you want a hashtag,
Black Rifle?
if you want a hashtag, it costs this much. If you want an image, if you want me in the image, if you want me saying the name of the company on video, it goes. I guarantee there's so many tiers built in.
Kirkland, I want to say right now on Blamo Podcast that John and I are open for business.
Okay.
And if there is a brand out there, we're not judging. We'll look at any offer that wants to pay us per tweet to have a hashtag and an image. We are open to that and open for business.
Yeah. And look, we're developing our rubric. We're developing our algo. So you come in with your pitch and we'll determine what you need and how much that
and
would
these
cost
companies
you. And
we don't judge.
We're negotiable.
These companies can be anything from a Mormon coffee to a polyamorous pizza pocket
Halliburton
to I'll take a look at a Cheney Child's trust fund. I don't care.
You know what you got to do? You guys got to get yourself into the watch game. Nobody spends money
Kirkland,
the way
you've been
watch
telling
companies
me that
do.
for years.
Here's an example.
All the money that has been spent in watches is me to them.
I was listening to this show before we were recording, and they were talking about like how Bond, got big on Omega. And basically Jean-Claude Biver, who was at the time, he's like the watch, I don't know, Steve Jobs, whatever, but he's still alive. And Omega was like, yeah, we'll let you have, Pierce Brosnan wear like a Seamaster or like he goes that to the Broccoli family. And they're like, yeah, it's $50,000 to have it in the movie. And he's like, how about I give you $2 million and I want it written into the script. I want it written into this. I want it written, he's like, I want his wrist to be on view in the movie promo. They literally rewrote scenes in the movie and added additional shit on the watch, because he had a little laser on his watch to like open up stuff. And that was $2 million, and it changed the entire industry for Omega. It saved.
But
that's
why advertising. That's why advertising is always underpaid. The talent is never paid as much as what happens with a good thing, and it's such a fucking like. You know what I mean?
Well,
because James Bond,
it breaks your heart the second you do the math on, I'm making good money on this job. It's like, but no, the company wouldn't hire me unless they were making more money than than I am. Right. And that's like the thing that kills you is that you're like, fuck, right. They wouldn't even be doing this commercial if they weren't getting more out of it than I would. And then that's the brutal part.
Like the Christopher Walken dancing Gap commercial.
Oh yeah, that was made a weapon of choice, the Fat Boy
thing.
Slim thing, where they knocked
okay,
out.
So
yeah.
that pushed Gap into like $1 billion stratosphere in the 90s with a store on every corner. They grew percentage-wise at a rate that both Fatboy Slim and Christopher Walken couldn't have even imagined. They got small buyouts, like decent buyouts. And even if they made $10 million at max over 20 years, the amount, it's a fraction of what Gap got
put together
from their performance in that commercial. And it's like, that is where commerce and like cinema and entertainment and art, it's like it doesn't really ever add up.
Well, that's like what because it's funny you'd said that, because like Kevin Hart like only wears his own clothes now because he realized he was making so much money. Like what this is like Kanye West, right? Like,
well, that's why I love
everything that they did. He made more money for them.
Business sense that way. Second only to his politics, which I love. No, 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 but I do like. I think both Gabrus and I have entrepreneurial kind of ideas, and the idea that, well, I pay all this money to this company to wear their clothes, but in essence, it's me that the clothes are the clothes need me more than I need the clothes, and so it's. Once you achieve that, you're really in a good place, but only very few.
Yeah. For me, it comes less from the entrepreneurial, from wanting to make money than wanting to passively make money for already rich people. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I get frustrated. is when I'm like, oh, I don't mind being like when people are like, oh, what shirt are you wearing on the show? I'm like, don't worry about it until they pay me. I'm not promoting them. I'm not working for free unless I like the product and it's small or something like that. But I'm not going to be like, check out Tommy Bahama. I'll be like, they're doing okay until Tommy Bahama reaches out to me and is like, I need hashtags.
It
I want you to be
crazy that Tommy Bahama hasn't reached out to you. If they're ever going to prolong that brand and make it cool again, I mean, why not go for the ultimate man of leisure?
I wholeheartely agree.
What you would do with the Tommy Bahama campaign,
there is no other person.
What the hell are they doing, Kirkland? Who runs that?
I don't know, but let's
what kind
find
of
out.
Cheeseburger in Paradise runs that company?
Yeah, it's owned by the Jimmy Buffett Well, a lot of these companies are owned by larger parent companies. So Oxford Industries,
Chevron.
Yeah, Oxford Industries, who owns Lilly Pulitzer, Southern Tide, Tommy Bahama, Ben Sherman,
Mall Clothes.
Oh man, they own a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's all mall and outlet stuff based out of Atlanta. 65 million they made last year, and they got a revenue of 1.2 billion. So let's make some shit happen.
Wow. Well, yeah, your researcher dude.
First of all, Tommy Bahama is cool. When Gabrus wears Tommy Bahama on the show, it always looks cool. And I feel like in the last 12 years or so, it's been given this rap of your uncle wears Tommy Bahama, but it's cool, Well,
so here's what we're doing. Mark this right now. So season 2, you guys got to get brand endorsement deals, and then have do you remember Dana Carvey show?
Yes.
They embraced the Mountain Dew thing with the
Love
yellow
it.
5 dancing stuff. Bingo. Yum Brands.
Yeah.
You got to do it. There you go. Season 2. You should go to a McDonald's and be we love McDonald's, because it really is where you like to go.
We can rattle off the small brands that were nice to us and shout them out. This is the place to do it, right? Because we were our own.
Right, yeah, the fashion
We were
podcast,
our own wardrobe. We didn't have wardrobe on the show.
Wardrobe.
You dressed yourself for the thing? I mean, because you guys looked great. Seriously.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Thank you. Honestly, I want to before we go into the small brands that helped us, I want to take a second to thank you two guys for getting me into, not only getting me in the idea of dressing to impress, or at least to impress myself, but also letting me feel like my style was
hell yeah,
as well.
I think
it's great. Yeah.
You guys both made me over the last couple of years feel like, no, dude, fashion is what you feel good in and what you look good in, and it's you're pulling it off. And then that inspired me, and then you shoot something with Adam, and Adam's like, oh yeah, he's got changes all day long. You're like, fuck, I should bring a few changes, and I should rock some shit. And then it's all of a sudden it's yeah, I already wore this jacket yesterday. I got to wear a different jacket in the show. And I never had this attitude, but TV opened my mind to it, and then Adam and you guys both opened my mind to it. So I just wanted to take a second here to while I had both of you together, and not to mention, got me my not just my first cool watch, but my first 2 just watch. Period. I haven't had a watch since I had a fucking G-Shock, a white G-Shock back in the day, and now I have a fucking Tudor that I can. I feel like a fucking gentleman.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Gabrus, I think that I've always thought that you look cool. Like, I never thought of it, like, especially because as much as like I wear a lot of nice clothing, Kirkland, you know this, I wear a lot of like used clothing. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm like a brand.
Well, I mean,
like, I'll wear whatever. And so I never thought anything you were doing was like outside of like a fashion box. I thought you were just doing you, which is what makes it cool. But
exactly.
like,
yeah. And I never knew that was a possible angle until you guys explained that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the best example, people talk about this all the time when you think about like Paul Newman and Steve McQueen and Cary Grant and all these like, you know, and even like Marvin Gaye and all like, no, they made the clothes cool. And it was because they themselves didn't care so much about the clothes that they were wearing. They just existed. It wasn't, you think like Steve McQueen was like flipping out trying to find the right pants? Like he put on pants and he was a fucking G. And like, I think like you guys both embody that really, really well. I mean, in the sense that like, you're not like, I mean, I used to be a stylist. There were people and they were like, I can't wear it unless it's this. And you're like, you don't realize whatever you wear, you look great because you feel good and you are on fucking TV and you're a celebrity. And you know, like that's a thing. And so like just having the confidence and wearing what you like automatically makes you a level above everyone else who's terrified, and so they have to, you know, snap a fit pic or something like that, just to find a way to like, can I pull this off? It's like, no, just fucking live your life.
I think we're both getting better at that.
Yeah, and the pandemic helped me with that too, because I started to just wear whatever I wanted, and then realized how easy that is to just do when it's not a pandemic. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it was always like, oh, I got to wear jeans. I'm going out to dinner. You know, I got to put on these because I'm going out. And then it's all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. I live in Los Angeles where people wear the most insane banana shit to like nice restaurants. I can wear whatever the fuck I want because I'm trying. I'm not like, I don't look like a slob.
And then you have a good sense and a good taste. So it's like, you're not, especially with money, you're not going to be like, oh, I want this garbage pair of shorts to wear to dinner. You're going to be like, I want these OP corduroy, you know, shorts that cost like $250 that I reached out to the brand to get more of. Like, you know, I know what you're doing. It's like, yeah.
I'm wearing
like,
corduroy
both
shorts.
of you guys.
I frequently wear my
like,
bird.
You know, we're not talking about like scraping the barrel as well. Like which is another thing that I think Gabrus and I have in common, which is like we identify the things we like and it's like we get them and we wear them and we repeat them. Like I like on the show that even though we wear a lot of stuff, we repeat a lot of stuff, which is something I hate on sitcoms. It's like the greatest sitcoms let the characters repeat shit so that you can get comfortable with their vibes. And on a new sitcom, it's like a runway every week and you can't like figure it out. You're like, I don't know what I'm watching.
Not to mention the solid open.
Yes, the American Apparel tricolor
over a solid undershirt.
It makes television like unwatchable, you know?
Yeah. Some truth to that. Yeah.
When you watch some of the like you watch a Netflix show, like a sitcom, like you watch Cobra Kai, you're like, this is a fun show. And then when you notice what the kids are wearing and they're all just like, this is, of course, how high school kids dress. They wear a solid olive green shirt and then a navy blue long sleeve open over it. And then everyone in the dojo dresses like that. It's like, no, that's not what real life is.
And it's hard because there's so much rule and law with like logos and stuff. Like a bunch of times I got nailed. And any logo and stuff that you see on the show, I snuck by because we were really like not allowed to wear sports stuff or vintage stuff or like anything that said something.
So wait, why is that? Is that's like because they could sue you or something?
Well, that's what the annoying thing is, Kirkland. You're stumbling on it here. Is there's no law against it,
right?
It's if there's no rule against it. It's just that they could potentially be sued, so they just head it off at the pass, like way in advance. So what I did on this one was I had hats that I wanted to wear that had logos. And I'm like, fuck, hats are harder to hide. Like a button down shirt that has like a little logo here, you can maybe skate.
Well, you're wearing like Action Boys hats and stuff. Like
right. That's what I started doing was like, well, if it's my merch and my design, they can't say anything. So then I started doing that. Then I was like, well, I really like this company that I'm friends with. And while we're shouting out small companies, this company called Fat Boy Surf Club that's like SoCal based, and a percentage of their profits go to save the manatees. And I like their shit. And I just DM them and was like, hey, I like your shit. We have this weird form, but if you fill it out, I'm allowed, like it's a release to wear your stuff on camera. So I got that from like 3 different companies I like. And then I was like, well, guess whose hats get to be worn? Like, and now I'm wearing your guys' hats because I don't have to deal with the drama of the crew being like, wait, where's that hat from? We have to like blah, blah, blah. And then
get some gaffer tape.
I got a little bit of drama from the pilot because I wore a hood hat, that company hood hat, and that I made a custom one that said Jones Beach. And they were, and like someone was like, that was impossible to clear. I was like, but you show the logo in the end. It's like, well, we were able to clear it. I'm like, so.
Well, that's always the bummer.
Just to be clear,
clearing shit is
happened,
so uncomfortable.
right? Like, I was like, but it was hard work.
Clearing shit is such a bummer because you can never get past that. It's like, they're like, it'll never clear. And you're like, but could it? Be like, well, it could if someone could get in touch with them. And it's like, so it's a television show. If anyone's going to get in touch with them, it's us. Like, we think everyone's trying to clear shit. Like, call them, clear the shirt. Like, I'll be on hold for a couple hours.
Right,
like, yeah. Like, it's hard to get that busy work done.
Well,
I'm gonna have to work. Well, but what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to work.
It's hard.
What?
I styled for myself. I dressed myself. I shopped for myself, and then I went as far to clear my own fucking clothing for the shoot. Like, that's bananas.
And then now we have to go so far as not just to clear it or now we have to promote it. It's truly like being out on your own. But I kind of like it that way because here's what I'm thinking before we do our brand shout out. I think that it's going to turn around to help us in the end because I think that we're going to make relationships with these brands personally that are going to grow, and these people are going to end up being huge. And we're going to be the ones that are like the next people that are going to be like on a billboard outside the Lincoln Tunnel holding a watch on the outside of their hand. It's going to be us. I don't know why they don't ever put it on their wrist.
I can't get the angle right.
Always like,
it always feels like a guy trying to sell you a stolen. And also, if the show, God forbid, doesn't last, my relationship with Fat Boy Surf Club.
There you go.
And I have to shout out, as we do the brands, OP, Olivia Purdock, who I met. I feel like I told you about her, Kirkland. I met her. She's the costume designer on Charlie and the Pandemic, and which is a movie that is coming out this year that just announced is going to open the Hamptons Film Festival, which is like a big deal for me. It's cool.
That's awesome. But it's a different name now, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they changed the name.
It's called like Who Invited Charlie? But I'm just calling it Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
But she was the costume designer, and immediately when I met her, like everything was used, everything was cool, everything was like a little bit off in the way that you're like, oh, you actually know you're not going to Ross even though the budget is small. You actually know like how this works. And I asked her to dress me a couple times, and it worked out so well. And now I have this like really nice working relationship with her. So she was like, for some of the stuff, like for our sunglasses, a lot of our sunglasses, and a lot of like my suits and stuff was like a go-between with her, where she would be like, I have a brand that wants to work with you on this and this, because it's hard to get suits on the road when you're growing a pant size every week. It's like really challenging.
Yeah. Taylor's on set is actually like a massive line item.
Yeah.
To do that. Like, yeah, I mean, I worked on shoots and things before where it was like, well, where's all the money going? And you realize that there's 3 different like seamstresses and tailors, and respectfully, they're still being underpaid, but they're there and they're like, hey, how fast can you change the waist, and can you hem this, and can you do this? Like, can you do it in 5 minutes? Because there's also thousands and thousands of dollars of other things that are going on.
And that's one of the things that we were just like, we're just not going to have that. We're a different kind of production, but I think we both did a really good job of mixing it up every day. And I think it helped us in the cut, because the cut is so frenetic that you don't know where you are in time a lot of the time. I think that helps us, where it's like each scene is its own scene. They're all going to end up on Instagram anyway. Each scene should have a different look,
Tiffany was like, you guys change outfits in between this. I'm like, babe, just keep watching. It's like, oh, you're in different outfits again, 3 different outfits in one night. It's like, keep them guessing, intercut, maybe Saturday night bar.
Yeah, it should feel that. It should feel that way, because that's otherwise you're going to be staring at like us in a sweatshirt that gets dirtier and dirtier and dirtier and dirtier,
Yeah.
So
well,
real.
what are the brands you want to shout out? Because I know you guys got to jump soon. So So obviously Olivia, she's
OP.
a G.
She's a G.
Huge,
She,
huge shout
did
out
you
to
see Gabrus?
Yep.
She started dressing some of our friends. She dressed Eugene for the Joe Coy movie.
Easter,
he looks so
Easter
cool.
Sunday.
He wore like
for
a
Easter Sunday.
Filipino. What's that called?
It's like
It's got a special name. But she mixed that with Good Fight, which is a Filipino brand, I believe, in Los Angeles. And
it's a barong Tagalog.
I thought he looked cool. I was like, Eugene's fucking dressing right. And then I saw Olivia did it. It was like, dang, she's good. She's really good. She dressed Daniela and she dressed my wife and I at the premiere. So the brands that, for me, Brain Dead gave us most of our shades.
Yep.
Besides Gabrus's enormous collection of retro Oakleys, custom Oakleys. Gabrus has an amazing
those are great.
It's amazing.
I got to shout out Duvin Design Company, some IG company that double XL shit fits me, and they were down after a DM to be like, fuck yeah, and they just signed everything, so I was able to rock their hats. And then I'll shout out a company that I want to work with, this company called Rourke. They make amazing double XL fucking wild pattern shirts. For me, I get easily brand loyal because I can't just pull double XL off most companies and let it fit me. It has to have a certain kind of shoulder fucking girth or whatever.
Well, because you're jacked. Like, yeah, I mean, you're like,
I'm not just a big belly.
Yes, I got
any other brand?
Fantasy Explosion. He made a bunch of my hats.
I mean, he's
always
a
vendor, but he had a big collection of Bloomingdale's this year, and he made a bunch of my hats, which I was able to sneak by because he was nice enough to sign, like Gabriel said, and also he made me a bunch of hats that just say New York on them with no team, no. You know what I mean? So it's like they almost look like rest stop hats. So it's like
they do look like souvenirs. They're look like stylish
hats.
souvenirs.
They're amazing hats. And so I wore those.
Yeah. I have you gave me that Metropolitan
I love
Opera
that one. Yeah, that one's
great.
That one's great.
Oh. That's a great hat,
so I wore those quite a bit because it covered everything. Arc'teryx let us clear. Shout out Nicole. That was very nice of her.
Whoa.
Yes. Which I think she had no choice, honestly, because when we hit Utah and Portland, there was a 2-week span where both Gabrus and I were in just Patagonia and Arc'teryx. Like, it was just so wet and cold, and like you're like, I bought it whole hog.
We bought it whole hog to that PNW shit.
Every part of me is Gore-Tex XCR.
And then Carter Young gave me most of the suits.
Yeah,
and he's great. And
Carter's
he's like,
great.
Olivia told me he's like 19.
He's young. I think he's like maybe 20 or 21, but like I had him on the show and I felt like such an asshole because I was listening to him speak and he was like just an absurd amount of wisdom and like patience and I was like, oh man, I was like, the kids are gonna be all right, because I was like, oh yeah, I'd message you on Instagram, and he's like, yeah, I don't really use social media, like social media is kind of like for old people, and I was like it's old. I was just like, but I mean, he's super crazy good taste level, you know, all of his references are on point, a fantastic designer,
and then
amazing dude.
316, the God. Yeah.
Andrew Chen, Johan, those guys are great.
He did most of our like my pants and stuff, and you can see it all over the show because he doesn't do a lot of logos, which is great for me.
And shout out to Tone Customs, who made Adam's purse that he gifted to me and that I rock for like 3 or 4 episodes.
My keychain that's in a couple episodes, Tone Customs. That dude is awesome. I like follow. He's one of those dudes that, like, I love his product, but also love following him on social media. Like I saw he's given up sugar right now, and he's having a hard time, and like I empathize.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, I respect that, dog. Let me get a custom croquet.
Yeah. What do you want to get next? Like, what's the next thing you want to get? Because I scroll through that website at night sometimes before I go to sleep.
Oh, dude, are you kidding? I have written and deleted DMs to Tone Customs as I keep brainstorming customs I want. But I think croquis are my next thing.
Croquis are so sick.
For a whole
great move.
Yeah. I want a big carabiner AirPod
like
case.
A huge carabiner.
Yeah, like a big yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hang it off the
Hang it
side
off
of
the
your
side of
fucking
the pants.
anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Genius.
Yeah, it's just I got to find $400 somewhere.
What are brands that you say, okay, so season 2, you just got a call. They're like, hey, we're doing this. Budget's 10x. What are brands that you want to work with on the new season?
Ooh, good question. Are you a surfwear company that makes XXL that fits people with arms and quads? Then I call me. I'm in. And if not, are you an investor who wants to invest in a plus size retro beach
Dude, you should.
company?
You would make
Then
so much
I already got the
money.
name. I got
What's the name?
designs.
Oh, don't say the
I'm
name.
ready to rock. Yeah, that's our secret.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I'll text it to us, obviously.
Speaking of speaking of Tudor, fitness. Speaking of Tudor, I would like to work with a watch company, because I feel like we wear watches on the show so much. It's such an easy thing to like brand, and it's such a thing organically. I would have no problem. Like give me the watch, give me IWC. I'll find the cool watch in your brand. Like pay me to wear it all on the show, and Gabrus and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way.
Hard not to say Nike also.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Anything sportswear wise, like, because again, a lot of our day is the way, because it's a trip with your boys. It's like divided into like 3 kind of things. You have like hangout clothes that is okay to do stuff in a city in. You have workout clothes, and then or ATV or stuff that's going to get dirty, and then you have like going out at night clothes, and that's kind of the 3 bags that we fall in, that we pack for every day. And so in that, there's a lot,
and then maybe one or 2 themed outfits depending on what we're doing. Like, oh, we're riding horses. Let's
bring that, or like we're playing rugby or whatever. Like so. Yeah. So in that,
3 fits a day.
There's 3 fits a day. There's a lot of room for like a big brand that covers a lot of ground to show off quite a bit.
There you go.
But Gabrus, I will warn you.
I
want to warn you. I've gone shopping with Kirkland, and his eye is expensive.
It's not that it's expensive. Hold on, I'm not just like walking around with like, oh, that's Hermes. Let's get that.
No,
like,
you're not like that. No, but you are like if you know, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you pick up like he was like we were walking through Bergdorf, right? And it was like, what would you get? What would you want? And knowing that like neither of us is gonna buy something insane, And he's like, if I had all the money, I'd get this brand. I forget what brand it was, but it looked honestly like it was a nondescript boat shoe, like just like nothing. Like it was very.
They were open walks. They were open walks. Like, really? Yeah, it's cool. Like the old man Italian shoe.
Like $2,300.
I'll just take one. Give me the left.
No, Kirkland. Before we go, I also want to say thank you so much for being an OG on both Gabrus and I's career and stuff, and being a fan. And season 2, knock on wood, we both need your advice, your branding help, and we would like to bring you for a segment and get you so bombed that you say something mean about someone.
Oh man, that could very well happen.
That's particularly bombed because I've almost never seen Kirkland even frown.
Me either. And I've gotten kind of bombed with him. The last time we went out in New York, we got kind of bombed.
This is true.
He said, we did. He helped me into a cab.
He's a classic gentleman.
Classic guy.
We'll see. I'm sure I'll find something stupid that'll get me canceled. I'll be like, let me tell you about this guy. He's a big jerk, and like that's the thing. And you're like, you said the J word.
He's out.
Well, gents, I love you. You guys are amazing. Congrats on the show. Enjoy the rest of the whatever gauntlet you got to do today.
Of course.
Thank you, gents. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Thanks so much for listening. You've been listening to Blammo. Our show is produced by Blammo Media. We're edited by Amar Lal, and our theme music, as always, by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. If you like what you heard, come on, you know the drill. Share the pod with a friend. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you leave reviews on stuff now. You can follow us on Instagram for all the hot content. And if you want to talk to us and give us your hot take, we'd love to hear from you. Our phone number is, I don't know where it is. It's in the show notes. You can find it. Anyway, leave us a message and we'll put it in a future episode, or email us like a normal person at info@blamopod.com. Last but not least, if you want to hang with us and join the Blam fam, visit patreon.com/Blammo, where all the exclusive content, episodes, and our amazing Slack community is. All right. Okay. Have a wonderful week. Give yourself a pat on the back. See you soon.